Hello and welcome to day 43 of Getting Good at Talking. I'm Leah and I'm recording myself every day talking to camera so that I can get better at talking to camera. I'm on a walk right now and let's see, what is on my heart to talk about? Okay, if we're being honest, which is kind of the goal of this, for me to be honest when I speak and what I want to speak about, I've felt called to talk about my divorce today. And I've talked a little bit about it in like various times, but I haven't, I guess, in one of these long form videos. So I don't know if I have enough left of my walk to talk about it, but here we go. Okay, we're just gonna. I kind of love the story of the day I was served divorce papers, because the day I was served, August 9th, 2023, the night before, I had bought tickets to see the Barbie movie. It had already been out for a while and I wanted to go see it, and so me and my mom were gonna go see it at like noon on August 9th. And so I was getting ready, and the day already felt like there was something different about the day. I felt called to, so let's rewind a little bit. Back to 2016. I think it was 2016. I was in Nashville for a bachelorette party, and me and my boyfriend both flew to Nashville, and he hung out with his friends, and I went to this bachelorette weekend, and I Amazon Primed myself a rose gold nose ring that I wanted to see if I liked it, see if I liked the way it looked. And so at the end of the weekend, when I show up to the airport, and my boyfriend was at the airport, and we hadn't seen each other that weekend, so he just looks at me in disgust because I have a nose ring in my nose, and he won't talk to me because he believed I had gotten my nose pierced, which would have been fucking fine. And I left it in. Okay, this is one of the biggest red flags. I ended up marrying that guy. So the guy that wouldn't speak to me because he thought I had pierced my nose. And once he had calmed down long enough, after I like showed him it was fake, once he had calmed down, he was like, I think it looks unprofessional. I was just worried about your career or some bullshit. And I was like, okay. And so I put that fake nose ring away for years. And on the morning of August 9th, I felt called to break it back out. I was like, do I even still have it? Let's see. I did. I still had it. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna wear this to the movie, and we're gonna see if we like it. Like, I don't know which nostril I want to pierce. I don't know if I'll even like it. I might not be able to stand it. And so I got ready. I put my fake nose ring, I pinched it on my nose, and I called my mom to see where she was, and she hadn't left the house yet. And she was about an hour away, an hour drive, like with minimal traffic. And so I was like, oh, you're not gonna make it. So I debated. I was like, well, do I want to go see it now by myself or what? I ultimately decided to go see it by myself, and that's the first time I'd ever gone to see a movie in a movie theater by myself, and it was to see Barbie. And it was such a brilliant movie to see the day I was going to be served divorce papers. And like, it had me crying, it had me laughing, and it just had me feeling so comforted. I felt comforted. And a part that made me laugh so, like, the synchronicity in the song, in Ken's favorite song, Push by Matchbox 20, made me burst out laughing and crying, because a few months prior, my husband did shove me, and that was the only time he put his hands on me, but I was not okay. And I was obviously in a very rocky place in my relationship. I knew divorce was what was coming. I didn't know it was coming in the form of being served by a stranger. And so I see this movie, I felt so held. And then I get back to the house, and the sun even looked like, the light looked different. I took pictures of myself, like I changed into like my slob clothes, and I took some pictures of myself in the light because it was so beautiful and I wanted to capture it. And I was out in the backyard with my dog, and someone entered the gate to the front courtyard. And so my dog ran around, and then I went through the house to answer the door, and it was a woman with a packet, like she had a box, and she asked me, "Are you Leah Zavala?" I was like, "Yes." And while she's standing there, I was like, she doesn't look familiar, but I guess she's a neighbor, and I guess she's holding a package. But I was like, I didn't order anything. That was what I was thinking. It's like, I didn't order anything. And then she hands me the papers sitting on top of the package, on top of the box. And I had to sign one of them and give it back to her or whatever. I was like, oh, I definitely didn't order this. Like, so I just stared at those papers for a while, and I was like, okay. Like, started sinking in what was happening. I was like, okay, I see. This is how he wants to play it. Okay. Well, okay. Then I called my mom And I was like, could you still come over? Because I was just served divorce papers. And I was emotional. Because that's like, even if you know something, it's different than when it happens, you know? And so my mom drove to the house and she stayed with me. And my ex-husband, didn't come back to the house that night. And I thought that was funny. He was like, yeah, he's like scared of me, I guess. I'm gonna stop here at the table so I can finish the story. So he didn't come to the house, which is like, he is such a coward. He was and is such a coward. Like, yeah. And so he shows up at the house the next day, not by himself. He brings a coworker who drove separately to the house. And he made some excuse like, oh, he's picking up my diploma and taking it back to the office. So he brought a fucking bodyguard. Because he also, I'm sure, saw my mom's car in the driveway on the cameras. We had security cameras. And speaking of security cameras, I found out later that his family asked him if they could see me being served. They wanted to see it, which is just, that tells you about the type of people they are. Anyway, and he said no, that they couldn't see it because he's like, she controls them, me, because I mean, we could both control them, but I had turned off, now we're getting real into it, I guess. I had turned off the notifications because he liked to have them on so he could see anytime I left the house, anytime I was in the backyard, it was creepy, and I did not like it. I did not feel safe. And so I turned off those notifications because I'm like, if we are both away from the house, I can turn them back on and we can be notified when there's movement. I'm fine with that. If I'm at the house, there does not need to be movement notifications. That's just, yeah. And so anyway, his family wasn't able, he or his family were not able to see me be served. Honestly, I mean, I could have used that content too, so anyway, where were we going? Oh, so I guess he had seen my mom's car in the driveway, and I guess he was scared. He felt outnumbered, so he showed up with a coworker picking up his diploma. The first thing this boy, I was gonna call him a man, but that's not appropriate. The first thing he asks me is, did you get your nose pierced? Because I was still wearing my ring. I just looked at him. I did not respond. And instead, in front of his coworker, I looked at his hand and I said, oh, you're still wearing your ring. That's a weird choice. I had already taken mine off and hid it. I gave it back to him because I was like, I don't want it. I don't want the money from it. I don't want it. I gave it back. So, what a weird choice, like, I don't know. It's odd. Anyway, for some reason I felt called to talk about this, and I mean, because it is my experience, and I feel like there was more to this. There is a lot more, actually, but I don't feel like I just don't feel like recording anymore because I kind of have to pee, and I feel like, you know, I'm feeling a little uncomfortable because I mentioned he put his hands on me, and I told a few people when it happened, and I haven't talked about it since then, because like after that point we were sleeping in separate rooms. He was staying at a friend's at some nights, and so I haven't said that publicly, so I feel a little weird about it because when I brought it up with him after it happened, I wanted to talk about it, and I wanted to know if he understood that was not okay. But he wouldn't even admit to it. He said, I moved you, which still required him putting his hand, like he did admit he put his hands on me, but his specificity was his memory of the event was different from mine, and so that's why I'm feeling a little weird talking about it. I mean, I understand there are always three sides of every story, like the individuals and like the truth. So yeah, I'm feeling kind of uncomfortable, and also because I know, like, people, I know we as humans, what am I trying to say? Our relationships are just mirrors of the relationships we have with ourselves. So I understand that me marrying him, that was a reflection of the relationship I had with myself at the time. And as I grew and evolved and changed, that relationship changed, and it was no longer a reflection of my relationship with myself. All I'm trying to say is, like, I take responsibility. Like, I made the choice to marry him and to stay with him for as long as I did, and that was because not like I wasn't forced into that. It was because of the relationship I had with myself. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't love myself. I didn't see the value in me. And so I was in a relationship that reflected all of those things. And yeah. It's just one of those uncomfortable topics again. But yeah, I did pierce my nose. I pierced my nose 20 days later after I was served because I liked it. And I was like, let's make it permanent. And I did. And I love it. And I'm so glad I'm so glad I got a divorce so I could get my nose pierced. No. But really, like, I was thinking about this earlier. I was just like, I'm so happy that I now feel safe enough in myself that I can do what I want, and I'm not worried about what someone else thinks of me or thinks of my decisions. Because that was almost 10 years of my life, which is a long time. It's a long time, but also it's like also not a long time in the big scheme of things. And it happened for a reason. I learned so much about myself. I am such a badass bitch, and I'm so fucking strong, and I'm incredible. And I would not have had the opportunity to learn how fucking incredible I am had I not gone through a divorce. So I'm very grateful to have gone through a divorce. I suggest it forever. No, I'm just kidding. If it's like part of your life plan, like, you gotta frame it like you chose it. And that's a quote. So I can't think of who said it, but it's like, some choices you have to, like, some things that happen in your life, you have to think about them, frame them from the perspective that you chose it. Like, I didn't start off the divorce process, but I treated it like I chose that. And I handled that with such, I don't plan on getting another divorce. But I absolutely rock that shit. Like, so if you're going through one and you have questions, no, I'm not going to offer that. No, I do want to help people who are going, I don't know where this is going now. Divorce is obviously a very difficult, challenging chapter to go through. And yeah. I believe I handled it really well. I know I handled it really well. But I'm also human, so, you know, I felt a lot of things too. And I'm feeling weird because the topic's weird. I'm feeling weird because the topic's sensitive, you know? Because I don't want this to be like I'm talking shit, because I'm not. Like, but I'm like, ooh, what did I say that I called him a coward because he is and was a coward. That's the only thing that's like, is it subjective or objective? You know, whichever one of those it is. The other things were true facts. Like, that's actually, like, what happened. He showed up with a bodyguard. And also, so my mom, I knew this was, because obviously this was a long process. It wasn't just a day thing. But he did think, because of the county we lived in, and I'm sure it's standard for all counties or whatever, there are a list of rules. I forget what they're called. And on it, one of them was something said, like, that I would have to leave the house. But he didn't understand that that wasn't the case. Like, we had to, like, he thought I was just gonna get kicked out of the house and have to leave. Like, as soon as I got those papers, he thought I would not be there. That's what he thought. I stayed until we sold the house. Like, we both lived in the house until we sold it. And that was a story for another video. I feel like it's a topic, this divorce, is better for writing, because I can like go back and add stuff, you know, and so it's not as confusing. My brain is just, I'm feeling a little unsafe right now because of the topic and because of a few things that I've said. I'm like, ooh, ooh, ooh. Because, I mean, I don't know if he watches these. I know his family, some of them, watch every one of my stories. And he was watching every one of my stories for a while. And I don't know if he knew that I could see that, but I could. So. Anyway. I'm gonna post this, but I also feel like I could talk about this for longer. I just don't want to. I still have to pee. That's why I'm kind of like deciding right now. Okay, I think we're good for today. I might not have finished a thought. I'm actually pretty sure I didn't. There were a few thoughts that I just didn't finish, didn't complete, which is okay. That's okay. That's okay. This isn't perfect. None of these have been perfect. This one's not going to be perfect. It is going to be done though. So I'll see you tomorrow.